everyone. Let me know when you're here and say hi. Let me know your name. Tell me if you're new and what's going on in your craft room. We just got an exciting package. So Ricardo will be bringing that into me momentarily. And I'm so very excited. And at the last minute, I decided to change what I was doing. So we are going to, first of all, ink blend this beautiful Timeless Beauty stamp set. I'll show you what that is. So this is a birthday stamp set. And yes, I did release it for Christmas. It was new and it was in the Crafting Sweet. Hi, Jennifer. How are you? It was in the Crafting Sweet Memories kit that we used virtually and at the in-person, but it is a birthday set and it was designed to be used year-round. And the thing is, you can make these roses any color that you want. So it is a birthday set, not a traditional Christmas set. So I thought, how fun would it be to create a card, practice stenciling it, and incorporate some of my favorite non-traditional colors. So look what we did this weekend. I need to click something. Hold on a second. There we go. So at the in-person Nashville Craft Retreat Fall Y'all Crop we just had this past weekend, we did, oh, she had a beautiful snow. Ooh, not so beautiful. I do not want any snow. So here's Ricardo with the box, and I will share it in a moment. Thank you very much. And so this past weekend, we, no snow, and you can keep it, Jennifer. We don't want any here in Nashville. No snow. And that cold, we don't want that either. I prefer it be about 50. That would be perfect. So you can keep your snow because I know you live in the mountains in Georgia and it was probably pretty, but we don't want it. So this past weekend, we had our in-person fall classes and my Golden used to love it too. Let's see, and Hagrid would love it. And the Dachshunds, not so much. We had the in-person classes and we had a non-traditional colors class. And I forgot until I was creating some cards how much I love navy and pink at Christmas time. So we created this card, and look, also this one, how pretty is that one? So pretty with the Winter's Morning Blue cardstock, mint, pink frosting. Look how pretty that is. That one, just love it. It's, wasn't difficult. We did do a little bit of ink blending to bring out the holly and then stamped the Art Deco Christmas tree. It's such a good background. And we did this one, and look, it's a secret closure gatefold. Ta-da! And so we have something special to stamp on the inside because on the inside sentiments arrived, and that's what Ricardo just brought me. So let me get this closed up. Isn't this pretty with this special secret closure and this wreath? This was created with the let's see, I'm forgetting the names of everything because I'm a little out of it today. The Pine and Pieces Holidays die set, and then the Put a Bow on It too, and the little banner ribbon die. Isn't it so pretty? I love navy and pink. So that's how we did that one. And here's what we have to do on the inside when we get there. Da-da-da-da. This literally just arrived. And Ricardo brought it in. So let's do an unboxing. Are you ready? An unboxing. I love to do unboxings. Are you ready? Ta-da! On the inside, stamps on the inside. On the inside, I didn't do anything on the back because I was in a big hurry to get these produced. These are called the On the Inside Sentiments, a whole series I'm going to do for the My Pretty Things line. 'Tis the Season stamp set. And here's what is awesome about this. We're going to put this over here. So these are they're in the store. They just arrived. They're ready to ship. I believe these are $19.99. These coordinate with the Happy Holidays sentiments that you can put on the front of your card. This one is Season's Greetings. It's been heat embossed and it has coordinating dies. Okay. We've got it on this gorgeous card. I believe, who made this card for me? I think Carol Hintermeyer made this beautiful card for the creative team. Merry and Bright Sentiment. She stamped that one in that beautiful red color and then die cut it. And then this is also a Carol card with the Merry Christmas stamped and heat embossed, right? Let's see what else if I have any others over here. I do not right now, but that is the Happy Holidays stamp set. And on the inside, the font coordinates with that. So we've got wishing you all the joy of the holidays and every happiness throughout the new year. Hoping your holiday is merry and bright. Sending Christmas cheer from our home to yours. Missing you this holiday season. May the magic of the season be with you all year long, because we have a believe stamp, right? 'Tis the season for twinkling lights, mistletoe kisses, and special memories. The greatest gifts cannot be found under the tree. We hold them in our heart. These are all sized to fit on the inside of an A2 card. Whether you do it portrait or you do it landscape, these will fit. And some of them obviously could even work on the front if you wanted to use the big, like, believe, may the magic of the season be with you all year long. But I created them to go on the inside. Hi, Christy. Christy, I think did you order these? Because they just arrived. So if you did, anybody who already purchased this or pre-ordered it at our in-person event last weekend, they'll be shipping out to you tomorrow because they have arrived. So I'm so excited. And we'll stamp one of those on the inside of our blue card in a little bit. Christy was in all the classes and got to do that beautiful set. So this is the Timeless Beauty stamp set. We have coordinating dies. Let's see. Right here, we have coordinating dies. Okay. And then we have layered stencils. I believe we have 6, and that's what it looks like. Okay. So I thought we would do these in non-traditional colors, and I can share some tips with you on stenciling and using the layered stencils. These are numbered 1 through 6, and I have started putting a big number on here so it's very easy to figure out, so you're not trying to squint and see it down at the bottom. We've now started putting a big etched number somewhere in somewhat the same location. Yay! I'm so glad Christy had a good time. So I have already stamped this and heat embossed it with my favorite polished gold wow embossing powder. Look at how that is raised and how pretty that it's a super fine. And I already stamped it. I figured you didn't need to see me stamp it. So let's do some ink blending. Here's how this goes. This flower is all on one stencil. So you do have to pick it up and move it, but that way you aren't kind of getting these two colors muddled together by having them both on the same stencil. So that's why it's all separated out, so that, thank you, Ricardo just brought me some decaf tea. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And in my, look, Andrea, one of my fantastic friends who taught classes on a beautiful album this weekend, She gave me this mug for my birthday, and that is steamy. So I am not going to drink that right now. We'll wait. Okay, so here's what I want to do. I would like to do a light, almost maybe even pink flower right here. And then let's make this a beautiful red rose. How about that? So this is how it works. We have the large one, and I do need to do a layering guide to make it real easy, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory. If you kind of move it around and have patience, you will very easily figure it out. And of course, it's very easy with the gold embossing. Sorry, I'm a little out of it. We were gone all last weekend, and I spent most of the day cleaning, organizing, putting things away, doing inventory, getting everything organized again. So I'm a little bit mentally, I feel pretty out of it. So we're going to try to pull this together and not make a fool out of myself. Let's do some, and I haven't planned this out, but let's do some Catherine Pooler, It's a Girl. And I'm just going to use a mini blender, one of my favorite mini blenders. And I think I'm just going to get a little bit of color here around the middle and not so much anywhere else. Okay, let's see how this goes. I don't have this planned out. I've inked this stamp several times, but every time it's a little bit different, and I do something different every time. So let's just start in the middle here and go in circles with a very light hand and get a little bit of pink, but I'm really leaving the tips of these petals pretty white. I want the highlights on there, and I don't want a lot of color because we're going to be adding in quite a bit. Okay, so my blending brush was a little bit dirty, but I think it's okay. So there's It's a Girl. What do I want to do now? Let's go crazy. Let's do a little bit of Flirty Fuchsia. We talked about these colors at the in-person because I am a huge fan of glam, and we need to move this. Now, as I go, I like to kind of wipe off my stencil so that very gently, so that I don't cross-contaminate. Here's my problem. I will touch the stencil with my fingers, and then I wonder how I get ink. Also, if you lay your stencils on top of each other, you can cross-contaminate, and then when you lay that stencil back down, you can get ink places. Now, be very gentle pulling these up because this is such a gorgeous, very detailed stamp set. These stencils can really stick to a sticky mat, and you can very easily damage them. So we're going to be very careful as we pull this up, okay? Because it's so detailed, that's why the stencil has some very fine points that can be tricky. You don't want it to tear it or break it, right? So we want it to stick down, but we don't want to really hurt the stencil. I'm going to go in with just a little bit of Flirty Fuchsia, and I'm actually going to use a piece of maybe scrap paper to take some ink off so that we can just go in with a lighter hand. Now this one, yes, because we did the whole entire flower a minute ago, we are going back over some of the light pink ink blending we did. But now we're adding a little bit of color only on specific petals. And you might not be able to see it, but I can here in front of me. Very gently. Oh, I forgot to wipe it up, didn't I? And so there's going to be Flirty Fuchsia there. So be careful. We'll wipe it in a second. So let's figure out, I think this one, see how easy this is? Once you figure out kind of where it's going or what's going where, see, you can quickly kind of figure out how to maneuver it. But I will at some point try to get a guide designed just to make your life a little bit easier. So now that I've got that down, very carefully, you don't want to rub. I'm going to gently go around the outside without hitting any of those very detailed places. and clean up that flirty fuchsia there. And let's add in just a tiny bit more in maybe some of these other places. And maybe make it just a little bit darker, right? Little bit of interest. I'm not inking up. I'm not adding any more than one little dab on my blending brush, and I'm keeping those white tips on the flowers. I'm even pulling, there's a little bit of ink here, so I'll pull that off and onto this petal instead of re-inking my brush again, because I want this to stay soft and very pretty. Let's dab that up very gently. Before we move on. Now, once again, very carefully and gently. It's such a detailed stamp set. You have to be so careful with these stencils. And it's the only way to get all that detail in there, right? There are some anchor points, and we've even perfected it. And it's gotten a little bit, it's just tricky because that fine line, we don't want to cover anything up, but we've like only got a couple of anchor points on this one. Also, my stencils, you might feel them and think, well, they're a little bit flimsy and they're a little bit lighter weight than other ones. They are. And that's on purpose. These are a 7 mil versus most stencils are considered a 10 mil. Sometimes you probably couldn't see the difference, but it is thinner because I want you to be able to see through it, to definitely be able to see where your stamped image is and where you're inking. So it's thinner on purpose. And also I find, I don't know if you do, but when I'm ink blending, the thicker the stencil, the more of a jump you have, that like you can't get into the little crevices with ink. And so the thinner the stencil, the less of that gap you have when you're ink blending. So you know how I'm picky because ink blending is my jam. So let's see how we can figure out. Here's what I'm looking at. Here's this little swoop, and there's a little swoop here, and that is going to line up perfectly. Makes it super easy lining this up. And just be patient and don't get any of that white space that shouldn't be in there, and make sure all of your petals are lining up where they should be. Once again, lots of detail, so we want to get that in here. Closer to the paper, the better. Yes, ma'am. So I'm very picky. Now, because of how this is close to the edge, we want to mask off so that we don't accidentally get any ink on the side of our flower. So I'm going to mask off right here and here at the bottom, although we're going to cut this off, so it's not such a big deal. We're going to use the die cut. But just in case, I'm going to mask off right there around it. Got it? Hi, Donna. How are you? Long time no see, right? Now, I'm going to go in with Flirty Fuchsia again, just a little bit darker, okay? And this is, once again, we have strengthened some of the anchor points, but it's a very delicate stencil. Can you see? Like, we have little anchor points because we didn't want to cover up anything. So when you ink blend even, you want to kind of maybe pull the brush out from the middle versus going in hard, right in the middle, going in a circle. Maybe you want to see where the lines are and be very gentle in the middle. But this is where we're going to get some of that definition on the tips. Donna was there at the in-person too. We had such a good time. So I can use a little bit more force around the outside of this, and I'm still not adding in too much purple because I don't want to go crazy. Now I'm going to very gently maybe pull from the outside petal into the middle, because that's kind of how those anchor points go. And hopefully not ruin my stencil by being too rough with it. Okay, same thing goes. Now I have to tell you, on this one, I would just run this underwater and don't press it with your towel or rub it with your towel at all. Run it underwater to rinse it, and then you won't harm it in any way. So that's that first flower done. And I'm glad we masked, because there's some ink over here so it didn't get on the other flower at all. And don't send any stencils on top of this one, because you know it's got the ink that we need to clean off. Okay, so we'll set that one aside. Very, very light inking. And if we want to go back and add some other color or more once we get our other flower done, we will. Okay, but there's like a red violet red, really pretty kind of wild rose right there. This one we might want to add a little bit of ink because it's so white. Looks like we kind of forgot it a little bit right there. And we might go in and add a little bit more for interest. Isn't it pretty though, the detail on this stamp right here and over here? I love that. And over here, and then this rose. Oh my goodness, the detail on those petals is gorgeous. Okay, so now we're going to number 2, stencil number 2. We're going to, and obviously it's got this big V right here, and there's a big V right there. Super easy to line this one up. It's masking the other flower. And I'm going to put my mask over here again, just to protect that. And I don't want anything to go over here, so I'm going to mask that edge too. Okay, now for this one, let's go. I'm thinking. This one I wanted more red. And you know, we talked about this. Red rouge is my favorite red for, it's just kind of my favorite red, period, but definitely for the holidays. Thinking about what I want to do. I'm going to go with, I'm thinking, you know, here's the thing. We've got party dress, which is a pretty bright pink. Hi, Diana. She's in California getting ready for her son's wedding on Saturday, so she's busy, but here she is joining us. Hi, Thelma. Hope you're having a good time, and I hope the weather's great. So anyway, party dress is very pink, very bright, darker pink. And then you jump to Rockin' Red is the other one in the party color family. I like the rouge from the Spa line. You know, it has just a little bit of earthiness to it. But I think I'm going to skip party dress, because, you know, one thing you can do is you just don't push very hard with your reds. So let's make rouge a very light coat, I guess is the way I want to say it. So let's get a blender, and I'm going to put some ink on it, but I'm going to dab a lot off. Okay, we're going to start here where it would be darker anyway, in circular motions off the flower, and then we're going to go up. And I'm kind of keeping in mind that I want to keep these petals a little bit lighter, so I'm not going over everything. Okay, and we'll see later if we want to go back in and maybe add anything else. See how I basically created a pink with rouge by just not pushing too hard. It's just a very light base. Let's wipe off, and I'm going towards the flower to wipe into the ink so I'm not damaging the stencil. Look how pretty. Ooh. Now, I'm already going to tell you, this one is very like bright purpley for me. Uh-oh, it's going to be a monsoon. That's not good. Is the wedding already planned to be inside? So we're going to fix this in a minute because I don't think I'm going to like it, but this is what happens when we're experimenting, okay? Don't forget the numbers at the top, okay? And this, if this one's going this way, it's the same flower going the exact same position. So we know that this is going to be at this angle too, okay? And this one's going to follow these lines, these very delicate lines. So be patient putting it down, okay? And there's another one here. Don't get into this one. Now let's go a little bit darker. Actually, I can go right here, add a little bit more, and add a little bit more here, but still maintain the integrity of some of the light flowers, right? So I'm going to add a little bit more right in through here and in through here. See how it does almost look like a pink right now? Just think about how much pressure you're using. And I could go in with a more detailed blending brush. I don't have my normal one in here. Don't know what I did with them, but I can use this one. And now I don't want to go in with a very concentrated amount, so I definitely want to dab some off. But look, now I can go in and add a very detailed amount. And we're probably going to with the detail stencil that's coming up. But if I want to get fancy, I could add a little bit more color here and there, right? But I want, even on the red one, to have what, you know, for it to be very light to definitely show red, okay, or the highlights on the petals. Pulling up very gently. Look how pretty. Ooh, so pretty. Do you see? Look at that pink we created with rouge, a dark red, right? So pretty. And look how some of the petals have that definition still. We can go in later if we want to add more. And I didn't wipe this one up, but look how detailed that stencil is. I do not want to tear those anchor points. Okay, and we know this one's going to go this way. And we're going back in that little V area again. This stencil is so worth the work of lining it up and moving it because, oh my goodness, it's so pretty when we're all done. And I think this is going to be gorgeous on a navy blue background. So we'll have to see. Okay, now I'm definitely going in with a firmer hand to get some red, some good red in these shaded areas. So now, notice I didn't even tap off there for a minute. Going in with a firmer hand, a lot more ink on my brush, and getting some of these areas, and going in with this little one, like right here in this little V, and here, and in some of these very detailed areas. It's, you know, it's always how much work do you want to do? If this isn't your thing, you know, if you know me, ink blending is my thing, right? This one I'm gently dabbing up. Ink blending is my thing, so I'm going to take my time and I'm going to do it right. Might not like the colors at the end of the day because I'm not so sure about this purple. We might have to do some quick fixing on that. Be very gentle pulling this one up. And now back, see this little V? There's a little V right here. makes it super easy to line up this rose. And we know if these went this way, this one's going this way. Tried to think about how to make it as easy as possible for you. Please follow all these little lines. I want these to be right on the tips here of these petals. So I'm making sure that I get that one lined up. Now put this mask here. And I'm not worried about over here because we're going to take this off. And for this one, this is the last one. I want to go in with some cranberry fizz. This is actually back to the party line. It would have gone, it's a girl party dress, rockin' red, and then cranberry fizz. But I like, rockin' red. Where'd my rouge go? There it is. But I like rouge better than rockin' red. And then I like cranberry fizz better than peppermint scrub, which is from the spa line. It's just my favorites. And look, they still look fine, although I didn't use that one, right? Okay, so let's go in with cranberry fizz and get some drama. Cranberry fizz is where we will get some really dark red. Let's take some off. Look how dark that is. And get some details. Be gentle. This one's not as bad. Like, I don't think you're going, if you really go in aggressively with your ink blending, you're not going to tear the stencil or anything. It's got a lot more anchor points. We have a lot of detail, but it's got a lot of firm anchor points. It's just that last one on that first stencil that is very, very dainty and delicate. So we have to be careful. This one I can go in. Now let's gently kind of wipe very carefully some of this red off. And let's take a peek because maybe I want to go in with even a little bit more. Ooh, look how pretty. Ooh, that's so pretty. How pretty that one is. Oh, I love it. What do you think? I do want to go in and add a little bit more darker pink. So we're going to go back in. I'm going to close this up. Oh, isn't that so pretty? Hi, Laura Stahl. The trip getting home Monday was so much fun. Uh-oh. Oh, because of the snow. Donna, I wasn't thinking about you guys having snow. I hope you were okay and got home safely. Obviously you did. Everything was okay, I hope. Let's see. Let's do this. I'm putting this back on. And we're going to go in and maybe use a little bit more. I want to blend these reds together just a little bit. Ooh, I heard a cha-ching. Who's shopping? Maybe someone, did someone go in and get the On the Inside sentiment stamp set? If you came in late, Donna, I think you got one. If you did, it will be shipping tomorrow. Going in with just a little bit firmer hand on some of these areas. Just to blend that red in just a little bit more. Let's see. Oh, I like that. That looks good. And we're going to add a little bit more here. Watch. Just using a little bit of ink. Look at that highlight on that one. That's pretty. There. I think that looks really good. Look how pretty. We've got a lot of highlight right there. We have detail. We have a highlight. We might need to ink that a little bit more. Let's get the full floral. And add just a little bit of color here. Just on these tips to pull it all together so it's not stark white. It needs a little bit of color because if it's a red rose, it's still going to be like pinkish red, but it's going to be lighter, right? Look how pretty. Ooh. Ooh, does anybody else love that? Look at with that gold. Now, I want to fix this one. I do not like that one at all. Like, I would probably start over on my own because I don't think it goes okay, but not great. Now, I'm taking my cloth and I'm kind of kind of cleaning up my embossing ink. Let's see what we can do with this. A violet red is look at my color's like off because my fingers are not this pink. So it's a violet red, so obviously it's got some red in it. It's just got too much blue in it for me. Yeah, it was, but it wasn't bad until Monday coming back. So maybe if we had left on Sunday, we would have all been okay. Thank goodness it was fine here, but Donna having to go north was not so fun. Let's get this back and let's see what we can do to neutralize some of this blue. I'm wondering if we go in with the reds but I don't want it to matchy. So let's see what we can do. Okay. Is anybody else not liking it as much as I'm not liking it? You know, it's just the ink color I picked. Not a fan. 2 stars out of 5 on the ink choice color. Okay. Let's see if we can red this up a little bit. I'm going in with a brush that just has some rouge on it. Okay. And we add, see, that helped a little bit. Now, let's go in and do this. See how easy this is to line up? Love it. And it is really pretty and easy when you've already heat embossed it. Now, let's go in with, you know what? I want to, hold on, my phone's chiming up. I don't know if you can hear it or not. I'm sorry. Okay, I turned my phone down. Someone registered for the craft retreat. If you have not registered for the Nashville craft retreat next May, seats are filling up really fast. Like the crop is almost sold out. So if you haven't registered, make sure you do that. I'm going to pull an Altenew color. Let me. I want to pull an Altenew color. I have some colors that I really like with this. I'm trying to remember what they were. Probably have them somewhere that I was. Those are the oranges that I used a while back for it. Okay, I'm just gonna wing it. Let's use some party dress and see how this goes. Because I do not want it to be a matchy red, but I do not like. Oh, there's Ricardo. Ooh, that's not good. Would still go to the retreat because we did have a good time, didn't we? And that's why I was laughing. That 10 out of 10 was on my mind because so many people were like, 10 out of 10, Erin, 10 out of 10, highly recommend. So that was so fun. We had such a good time. Oh my goodness, we had so much fun. I have to say, I was not expecting it to be so much fun, but we really did have a great time. I mean, we always have fun, right, with our crafty friends, but knowing it wasn't the Nashville craft retreat, but oh my goodness, so much fun. Let's go to this one and let's see what we can do to jazz this one up a little bit so that I can save this without starting all the way over because I love the red that we did. Let's do some more bright pink here. It's definitely not what I envisioned, but let's see what we can do, right? We just need these pretty pinks and reds with the blues, the navy blue. That's looking a little bit better, right? Now, let's see. Make sure we've got to line it up perfectly now, right? Because we had already done other one. So be patient and let's go in. And remember, be gentle. We're going to do some pink and then we're going to do some red. And definitely get rid of that too much blue in the flirty fuchsia. Okay. Now let's go in with rouge and see what we can do to salvage this. Now, I'm going to tap off quite a bit. And now I'm not going to use as heavy of a hand going around the outside. And now go in the middle, and maybe pull it in, like I said, because of that daintiness. And then let's pull it up and see what we think. Oh, that's not too bad, right? Should we get brave? We might as well. You know, what else do we have to lose? Let's bring some glam in and see what happens. Just a little bit because we're adding back in some purple, right? I know that's what you're all thinking. Didn't you try to get rid of that? But I'm in love with glam, so let's see what we can do. We're going to keep it on the red side, but add a little hint of this in. Okay. Take a peek. I like it. Maybe not as much. Because now we've done that. Okay, hold on. This is what happens when I don't have a plan and I wing it, right? But this is what we all do in our craft room. And it's the only way we're going to figure out what we like and what we don't like, right? Going in with cranberry fizz back over the glam. There we go. I like that one a little bit more. Now, I'm going to go back in with this one to kind of get it all blended together. We need some more kind of reddish pink. We're just might as well go with the reds because that's what I decided I like, right? I did one that I really liked that was a lighter pink with the red. But I can't remember what combination I used, and I tried to get adventurous tonight. And maybe a little bit of this here on the tips so it all looks cohesive, and see how that goes. Now look how much ink is on this one, so definitely don't lay anything on it and don't touch it. It's okay. Not a fan. I'd start over if we weren't live because it's not what I envisioned. Now, we have a lot of ink on top of our embossing and we don't want to smear it everywhere, but we do want to kind of burnish it. And I like to use a paper towel for that. But definitely don't swipe it, especially if you're not going to die cut it. Don't swipe it onto the white and smear some ink. But, and it will pick some of the ink up that's not totally dry and soften that one, right? This one, I just love how we did the reds. I love it. But it brightens up our embossing. Again, see that? Can you see it? Definitely brightened it up. Okay. Thank you, Donna. It is so pretty, right? I just love that one so much. Okay. Let's go ahead and do our greenery. So that is stencil 3. Watch how easy this is. We did add in 1, 2, 3, another. Ricardo, are you down here? The girls are blowing up my phone and it's chiming away. So look how easy this is to line up the greenery. So easy. And then we have a middle 1, 2, 3 of one of the smaller flowers. But let's go ahead and do, what color of greens? Do I want a yellow green? Do I want sagey green? Let's go ahead and do some matcha and go from there. Once again, I'm going way out of my normal, what is normally my favorite color palette. But let's do some matcha. Might even do some lemongrass. I have been liking lemongrass a little bit. Let's do some very light ink blending with some matcha. Use a firmer hand on some and a lighter hand on others. Look how pretty that is. And there's just these, the one stencil for the leaves. We need to zoom it in just a little bit. Oh, Ricardo to the rescue. Girls are blowing up the thing and I turned off my phone, but now the iPad is going off. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, let's go in with maybe some spruce. These are little leaves. We don't need too much going on, but I do like, and Deck the Halls is the cousin. Deck the Halls is the party color. The spruce is the spa color. See how it's a little bit more earthy? So if you want it brighter, use Deck the Halls. If you want it a little bit more earthy, use what is this one? Spruce. You can tell my brain's not. Tap some color off. You can't see it because I've moved it. And we're just going to go in maybe on some of these the base of some of these leaves. And then I'm going to dab some off and just very lightly blend out on the tips. Okay. Especially because I don't want a real harsh line. Just very lightly. If you wanted to go back in, you could, but now I've got a lot of ink on my stencil, so it's going to cross-contaminate my lighter brush color. So keep that in mind if you don't want that to happen. And there you go. And if we wanted it a little bit darker, I know, Laura, the stencil's so nice. You don't have no coloring needed, right? So you could brighten this up. See how it's see, to me, it's kind of like it's dulled it just a little bit. If you wanted to add in a little bit of brightness, you could go in with some juniper mist. I love to add some blue, or you could go in with Deck the Halls and see if that brightens it up a little bit. Okay. Because it just looks a little sprucey to me. And I like it to be a little bit brighter. So watch how, see if you think this helps a little bit. Ooh, that did. Just going in right there. Deck the Halls is definitely a little bit brighter and it brightens it up just a little bit. Very pretty. I'm going against all my instincts and what I would normally do, and that's why I'm probably not loving everything I'm doing. But that's pretty, right? And you could leave this like this and not move the stencil or do anything else. You could just leave it. I don't think it would be bad to leave those, but I want you to see it. So now this one has the berries, and then you move it to do these little tiny leaves, which you don't have to do those either. So here is, let's see, there's the 4, right? Stencil number 4, somewhat kind of straight up and down. Let's see. Yep, here we go. See how easy it is? Get these lined up. And these, I'm just going to give it a very light, I'm going to use this detail blender and just use any ink that's on there. I'm not going back in. I want these to be very light, especially because we've already got the reds. But we need a little bit of hint of definition, right? So there's these leaves and there's leaves. So don't get any ink on those. And now we're going to move it, leave probably just a little bit. And look how this matches up. Easy peasy. And this one I'm going in with matcha and just matcha, and that's it. I'm going to have a sip of tea, just a spot of tea. That's good. It's already 7:52, y'all. How do we do that? Okay, I'm looking for my light green. Use this. We'll go back in with matcha. Very light hand on these. They're not very big. They don't need to be the focal point. They don't need to be the center of attention, right? This is also where using the 7 mil stencil is much nicer than using the big thick 10 mil. I mean, it's not that much thicker. You might not be able to tell, but I know the difference and I want it the way I want it, right? Look how pretty. Look how pretty. Let's get this die cut and maybe see what it'll look like on a navy. We'll see if we like it on a navy background. We might not like it. You know what else this would be pretty on? Craft. I'm kind of into craft lately. And my sticky mat is so sticky, I really have to work on getting it up. There we go. Look how pretty. Look with that gold. That is so pretty. Let's get it die cut and see what happens. I have beautiful new plate. We're going to get this first cut on these pretty new plates. I love beautiful, clean embossing or die cutting plates, but we're going to ruin it by cutting right into it, which is okay. What it's for, right? Let me find my dies. You should see my tub of my supplies. It is a disaster. Oh, and here I've stamped out the sentiments. I stamp it out? No. I did on a different one. Hold on and I'll get it. See. On the inside sentiment are my dies. See, we have a big one for the bouquet, and then we have smaller ones for the birthday sentiments and the smaller flowers. But I love that we can just cut out this this big one. Let's see where we're going. Here we go. The time to get it lined up. And that's a magnetic mat, so I don't need to tape it as long as I don't move it with my hand. Uh-oh. Hope it, it in yet even. Uh-oh. I don't have my cord. Oh, that's not a very good one. I have to think of where I put my cord, everyone, because I haven't used it since we've been back. Let me think. Where? I guess we're not cutting. I'll have to cut off camera. Let's do I'll do a quick fussy cut, but not a detailed one, so that we can see if we're going to like it on a navy blue background, okay? And then since it's already been almost an hour, we're going to stop there anyway. And I'm not getting too close because I don't know where exactly the die cuts. And we did too much work, right, to mess it up. But I want to see, you've gotten a lot of tips on using the layered stencils and using any layered stencils, really. So I'm glad we did that. And as usual, we won't get to a full card, but thank you for joining me tonight and spending a little bit of time together, even though my brain is kind of not back in the zone yet. I needed a few days to recuperate. That looks pretty cut out, even though it's not a good cut. Let's just put it up against this gatefold. We take this one off. Then we've still got the navy blue gatefold here. Ooh, I think, oh, look how pretty that'll be. Oh, not your fault, my fault. I haven't used it, says Ricardo. Look, this, I think this will be pretty on the navy blue. I think we're going to like that a lot. So I'm going to put it on a navy blue background. I will probably stamp and I might have navy blue over there, the Art Deco Christmas trees, just for a little interest in the background. If you do clear on navy or you do tone on tone, it won't distract from your focal point, but it still gives you interest in the background. But look how that'll be really pretty on the navy blue. And I might have to play with some other colors to see what we can really do. But let's stamp some of the new, if you came in late, on the inside sentiments 6x6 stamp set arrived, and let's stamp our sentiment on the inside of this pretty card. Okay, since we have that now, and I'm going to put this in here. No, I'm going to leave it out so we can see it when we're done. And let's figure out how we can stamp this straight and not mess it up on the inside of this pretty card. Okay. So I like to use a stamp positioner, and I like to use a T-ruler. And I have to tell you, lately I have been using my big T-ruler because it's got a straight, excuse me, a straight edge. And this other T-ruler that I have does not. And I have realized, now I don't have the new, I know it. I love the font of this. I do not have the new Pear Blossom Press ruler that is supposed to be fantastic. And so I need to go check it out. But I like that my stamp wheel has an open side, and I can put this straight in here to get a straight line. Okay, can you see what I'm doing here? I'm going to open up my card. I like that I can put things off the edge. And let's figure out, and I haven't done this, so I'm winging it, where I want to put my sentiment. Okay, so I'm going to put this here. I'm going to stick it down. I've got gems on the other side, so I know my card, if it's cut straight, looking to see it's going to be straight, and then I put that. And my sentiments I use, so I know where they are. They're already in my other Misty because I just put it in there quickly the other day when the samples arrived. And so if we use, let's see, what sentiment should we use here? Wishing you all the joy, 'tis the season, sending Christmas cheer from our home to yours. Let's do 'tis the season, or the greatest gifts. 'Tis the season. I like this one. And then we have the 'tis the season vocal sentiment that you could use on the front. Okay. Now, this is not straight across on the bottom, so you cannot line it up that way. And that is kind of a stinker. It would be nice if in manufacturing they did it a straight line across, and did it like a square. Might need to make a mental note of that going forward. So I can put it further up though and kind of eyeball it so that we have room to write something, down below that. I'm going to look at this for a second. Oops, moved it. Okay. And one thing I could do is trim the bottom straight across so that it might be easier to line up. Something to think about. Okay. I am going to go ahead and see if I can lay the top of my stamp wheel on there. I'm winging this. I haven't tried this. So, we're seeing how all this works, right? There, at least push that down and get that stamp attached right there. Good. Now I can pick up my ruler and let's put this in here and see if it's going to work. And we think it's going to be straight. I think it will. I did not look to see if it was right in the middle, but I think it looks pretty good. I'd rather it be straight than worrying about it that it's perfectly centered. Okay, so what should we do? Should we stamp it in Juniper Mist since the front is navy? I think that's a good idea. I've already conditioned my stamps because I got them last week. And remember, we're going to do the kiss method. We are not going to smush it because the more you smush these delicate stamps, the more it's going to smush out that pretty font. Okay, so I'd rather stamp it a couple of times. Gentle pushes, not squishing it down, because there are some delicate parts of this, and give that ink time. Just hold it gently. We're letting that ink, especially because it's a water-based dye ink, absorb into the fibers of the paper. I'm not pushing hard. I'm just giving it a little bit of pressure and allowing that ink to transfer. Now I'll pick it up. Look how pretty, but I'd rather do it again instead of pushing it hard, right? Very gentle tap so I'm not smushing that foam pad. And now make sure my card's down. Once again, gentle pressure. It's worth it, right? To do it right the first time. I'd rather do this 2 or 3 times to get a good ink than one time and have it all smushed out and lose the delicate, pretty lines of this pretty font. Look, and I'm going to do it one more time so that it's absolutely perfect. It would be nice. I could have used my VersaFine Clair inks, which are a hybrid pigment ink. And that would have been lovely because you know what a beautiful stamp that ink does. or the crisp clear of that pigment hybrid ink. Okay, I'm letting that ink transfer, and this should do the trick. Look how pretty this is. And I think I have them all stamped out somewhere. Look, ooh, that's so pretty. So very pretty. Look at that. 'Tis the season for twinkling lights, mistletoe kisses, and special memories. Look how pretty that is. Didn't that come out beautifully? Look, and we got it pretty perfect, and it's right in the middle. And look how pretty that is. You open that up, and there is that sentiment. Let me pull out the stamp so you can see what that coordinates. Okay, look. So here are the main sentiments. Okay. Oh, I didn't do 'tis the season on this one. Good. Because, you know, you have 'tis the season, but look, there's believe. Season's greetings. What if we did season's greetings on the front, right? In this beautiful font. And then you open it up and you have 'tis the season for twinkling lights, mistletoe kisses, and special memories. See the swoopiness? That matches the little swoopiness on the M right there. And then on the 'tis. And it's a little bit bigger at the top. But Merry Christmas, 'tis the season. Home for the holidays, 'tis the season. For twinkling lights, mistletoe kisses, and special memories. So that's how on the inside coordinates with that. And there will be more in this line. It's called on the inside, because don't you hate spending all the time making these beautiful cards, and then you don't have, it's hard to find a sentiment to go on the inside, right? So, and there's no coordinating dies. We don't need that, right? Because they're on the inside stamps. So this is now in the store. It arrived tonight. If you pre-ordered it, yours will be shipping out tomorrow. If you order it tonight, it'll be shipped out tomorrow, okay? So that's on the inside. It's arrived. Look how pretty. I love it. I rushed to get that done because I thought it was just so very pretty, that font. And it's nice to have that matching on the inside. I don't know what I did with my roses already because I was going to show those again too. So, oh, here it is. Thank you everyone for joining me. We did these pretty layered stencils. So pretty. Still think I'm going to redo it because I'm still not a huge fan of that one. I want different colors, and I'll have to see what I can come up with. I think I used Alta New colors for this one, and then the reds there, and I really liked it. But look how pretty the navy blue is with our navy blue card front. And then this one is that hidden closure for the gatefold. So what a gorgeous, oh, see, that one says Merry Christmas. If we did the coordinating one, it would coordinate with that font. So pretty, right? Okay, thanks everyone for joining me. We will be crazy crafting. I've got all kinds of stuff going on. So thanks for joining me. Don't forget this is in, coordinates with that. Show me, share what you're working on so that everyone can see it. Okay. Thanks everybody. I will see you next Thursday. If I don't see you before then, I'll see you next Thursday. Okay. Bye everybody. Thank you. Can't find my mouse. Where did the mouse go? I wonder if it fell in here. Do anything without the mouse. I'll see everybody at some point. Let's see. Par for the course that I lost it, right? There it is. It's under the Empress plate. Got it. Blooper reel. Here we go. Okay. Bye, everybody.